I'm just going to take you through a quick walkthrough of E-Hall, well, specifically the machine shop, and what I might do on when I'm working on projects or on work orders. So this is E-Hall. It's a relatively new building, and first thing you see when you walk in is going to be the front desk. Occasionally I will work the front desk and greet people and answer questions. And then as you move along, you're going to come up to the first main area, which is just sort of a study area. Students can come here at pretty much any time, and I do mean any time, and work on design projects or work on homework or study in groups. There's a giant whiteboard wall, which is what you're seeing there. And then as you move along there, you'll end up in the electronics lab, and it's pretty comprehensive. If you need to make a circuit, we have the parts, we have the tools, we have the components. It's all there, it's all free to use. And right here is the electronics senior project. They're trying to make an electric limo for shuttling campus. So this is the main area. This is where projects start and stop. There's usually a little bit more desk space in here for planning things out and laying out materials and generally just getting things done. This is also where you assemble stuff. I spend a lot of my time here doing homework on these desks, and just for the sake of showing off how I like doing my videos, I think I fold a flower here just to pass the time, because I was not able to do any of the machining at the time I was filming this, so I didn't want to waste the day I had with the camera. Anyways, so what I'm going to do here is walk you through the shop itself. You'll see there's all sorts of stuff. There's the chopping bandsaw, there's the upright bandsaw, we have angle grinders that you couldn't really see. Right there is the tool or clamps and such, drill presses, mills, vices. There's a laser cutter back there. That guy right there, that's Ray, he's one of the machinists. There's a couple mills. There's a CNC mill and a CNC lathe. I don't know how to use those yet, but I'm learning. That right there is where I spend most of my time, and that right there I also spend most of my time when I'm actually machining things. I'm not as comfortable with mills yet, but I'm working at it. When I'm not machining, this is where I spend the rest of my time. The table saw, the chop saw, the joiner, the planer, and the disc and belt sander. There's the chop saw. And the student is currently using the laser cutter, otherwise I would have showed you using it. So now I'm going to run through sort of what I do when I make projects, and I start by finding something to make things out of. So there's three main places you find stuff. Here's the consumables cabinet, just random free stuff that any student can take. Then there's the more secret room, and that's in this area, which I don't think I walk you through at this point, but I may later on. This is the sort of secret stash. Everything on this side is free to take. There's motors, there's hoses, there's clamps, there's electronics equipment, there's all sorts of stuff, and it's all free. On this side is things you need special permission to take. There's, I think there's a furnace, there's a couple welders. I'm not sure why there are shopping carts there, but my boss Tom keeps all sorts of stuff on hand, so it's always a treat to go back there and look around for a while. Now this is the Empire of Dirt. This is where, if we have it, it'll be. We have all sorts of materials. We have extruded aluminum, copper plates, piping of every variety, acrylic, plastics, wood, although you have to be careful because some of the wood belongs to some of the machinists for some reason, and they don't take too kindly to you using it. But then also this end cap is free materials. There's some brass, probably a couple $100 worth that I pick up throughout this video. Aluminum, high carbon, low carbon steel, stainless steel. That piece right there probably came from a $700 10-foot bar. There's an engine, there's a 3D printer, an old 3D printer that I'm going to restore later on. There's the manager's wood. There's all sorts of goodies under here too, just waiting to be explored and inventoried. This is an old Lego rapid prototyping kit, if you will. And then in here we have the tools of yesteryear, as I call it. There's stuff from I don't know how old. Now, I'm going to do a training video more or less. So I'm going to show you what the students learn when they're getting shop trained. Usually they use the upright bandsaw, but I'm using the chopping bandsaw to cut off a piece of low carbon steel. And I'm going to drill a hole and tap it. So it simply starts off like that, cutting it off, and then it leaves a rather rough edge that I'll then take to the disc sander at the back and grind off. Sorry for the noise in the background. There are surprisingly few quiet places throughout this entire school. So that makes it nice and clean, no sharp edges, no risk of getting cut. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some marking fluid or layout fluid. If I were to scribe a line directly on the metal, it probably wouldn't show up that well, so it'd be kind of hard to accurately drill holes. So you start by putting this stuff on there. It stains like crazy, and then once it dries, you can use this scribe, which is very accurate, to lay out your part. So I don't remember what I set it to, something like 0.850 inches. And then I'm just going to score a line across it. And the carbide tip that actually does the scoring had some junk on it, otherwise that line would be a little bit finer. And there we go. So now to drill a hole in that location, what you want to do is you want to start out by punching it, center punching it. And I'm just doing that by hand. And I missed a little bit, but the camera was in the way, so there. And you start by center drilling it, and then drilling it to size, and then putting a chamfer on it. And then I'll take it over to this little tapping machine we have. And okay. There we go. And I'll begin to thread it, which isn't hard, but boring. Very boring. This didn't take very long, but when you're tapping an inch hole, an inch diameter hole, it can take a while. Especially if it's a harder metal than what I'm tapping right now. So, there we go. And I'm going to leave you with the sunset. This was taken from the 4th floor of E Hall. So, I think it looks pretty nice. And that's Miller Park to the right of the frame.